Tom's book, I'd Like to Play Alone, Please, was awesome. It was really gripping, and it wasn't a suspenseful book, but it was like every story was interesting enough, and it's a collection of essays, so it's just short stories, basically. Some of them are 2 pages long.
That's my type of book, man.
It's our type of attention span as millennials and younger, right? And increasingly older too, but we're just saturated with that. Give it to us in 2 pages.
I have textbooks in class and I'm like, boring. And I feel like my lectures are literally just what I'm supposed to read. So I'm like, what's the point? It's just more of the same stuff.
Right.
That's how I truly feel about all the readings I have to do.
That's why school sucks.
Leave me alone.
Yeah. You know what I would love? Yes, exactly. I would like to play alone, please. Do you know why that's the title?
No, I don't.
It is his son Ellis's first full sentence he ever said to his dad.
Aww.
Yeah, but kind of dark and weird.
Yeah,
It's
but
both.
it makes sense because they're weird.
Yeah, they're a couple
The
weirdos.
parents, yeah.
They are for sure. That's one of the stories in the book, of course, is explaining that. You know what I would love to do, I think would be very interesting, is for you to do your best to reiterate the one chapter of the book that you've read so far, because you found it in the bathroom where I left it.
Yeah.
And you picked it up and read one chapter. So you've read one chapter of the book, one essay.
Yeah, I went to the table of contents. You've already like shared a couple at that point.
Yeah, kind of throwing them out verbally, like, this is funny.
Yeah, and then there are definitely some stories that I already kind of knew from his work.
Yeah.
And so I just picked a random whatever caught my eye.
And what was the title of the chapter?
Again, I forgot.
I'll tell you, because I
Yeah.
remember. The title, and that's the only thing I'm going to fill in here, because I really want to just get your take on what you remember.
Okay.
You read the chapter, No Fat Chicks.
Right.
Yeah. What was that about, hun?
Okay. So it was about one of Tom's buddies who's a comic and don't remember his name, but
His name's Phil. I'll give you that.
okay, Phil is a large guy. Like
Yeah.
he's considered obese.
Yeah, he's fat.
And it talks about how he doesn't like fat chicks.
Yeah.
And
It's a no-no for him.
it's a no-no for him. And he gets good-looking ladies. And Tom just doesn't get it. Because he says he's fat and he's a piece of shit,
Yeah.
are his words.
Yeah. It's like,
And
Phil
so-
sucks, and he's fat.
Yeah.
So who are you to be fat and then be like, I don't even consider, if they're not hot, I don't
Right.
even think about it.
Right. So then he talks about how he gets these hot chicks. He doesn't understand why. And he interviews women
Right.
in his life. So like his wife and his female friends.
The editor of the book is one of them.
Oh, okay, I didn't
Yeah.
know that. And he asks them like if they've ever broken up or like was dating someone and broke up with them for some superficial reason. And all the women have had a story where that they've done that.
Right.
So, the premise of the chapter is we all do it.
Yeah.
Like,
And to fill in a little bit, Tom then, after Phil so assholishly insists that he's above all of these people, Tom divulges as well. It's like, while he judges him, he admits that he has broken up with people for superficial reasons. Like, he didn't like the way their head was shaped or something weird. One of my favorites, and I've never even thought about this in my whole life. This is like one of the things for real in the book that blew my mind the most. He broke up with a girl because her feet were too narrow. She had
Yes.
skinny feet.
Yes.
Like thin feet. Who gives a fuck about that?
right.
That is the way, and he is an outrageous dude on a lot of his opinions and the kind of the way he talks. I never am like, what the fuck is he talking about? Ever. I feel like I just get his sense of humor, which makes me enjoy him. The narrow feet thing, I was like, what the fuck is that? And then you're right. He gets to the end of the chapter and he's like, hey, I was going to end the chapter being like, Phil, and as it turns out, most men are pieces of shit because we'll just break up with you because we don't like the way you look.
Yeah.
And then he takes it to the women in his life and they all affirm that they do the exact same thing. And that apparently amongst most people that they're all doing this. Chandler on Friends is a character that's like notorious for this. He breaks up with women for shallow reasons. That's what I brought up to you. I was like, it totally reminded me of that episode.
But we started talking about it and we've discussed that I don't think we've ever done that. No. I've never broken up with a guy because I can't even think of anything.
I thought, how I didn't either. And then the way I tried to test myself was thinking of the reasons I have broken up with people. And I was like, no, none of them were shallow reasons. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but it wasn't like, I didn't like where her freckles were or something. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, it was either like you lost attraction to them or they kissed weird, like physical intimacy stuff that, if it doesn't go well.
Okay, but hold on there because you said lost attraction to them. That could be like based on a physical thing that you didn't like. Like all of a sudden their knuckle hair was not so sexy and you were like...
No, I meant more so like the more you got to know each other.
Like their personality turned you off more. Yeah. Got it. Yeah, I've only ever broken up with people because of like... Not a little thing. That was one thing. It had to be several things. Like I find people's weird little quirks like that mostly endearing even on people I don't like. Mm-hmm. Like if someone has like a kind of crooked nose or they're like a gap in their teeth or something, that stuff doesn't turn me off. Like I find everybody's, there's ugly and there's good looking for sure. Let's not be, I don't want to mince words about that. For sure. But sometimes things that other people might be like, yeah, it's kind of a weird thing. I'm like, that's kind of a cool thing about them. I like that. But I've never been like, man, I like this girl and it's going okay, but I can't stand her fucking hands. They're weird. They're just weird. Her fingers are too long for the palms. Like I can't think of a single one that I've ever done. It's all been like more legitimate reasons. So another thing that makes us kind of weird, babe. Kind of weirdos. Yeah,
I would love to hear stories if you're brave enough to just like talk about why you broke up with someone.
Anyone who watches the show, please drop a comment on whatever and tell us your breakup reason that was like fucking weird. Because we don't have any.
Yeah.
Should we start the show, babe?
Let's start the show.
Start the fucking show.
Vibing and thriving. Vibing and thriving.